Hey, everybody. Welcome to Game S Mornings with me, Jeff Grubb, your host from giantbomb.com. I'm back. Thank you for tuning in. In this episode, we're going to be talking about raising money while making oopsies, and a physical game pops off while the rest of the industry prepares for the all-digital future. It's going to be a good one because we have Jason Finelli on the show. Jason, it's a Monday to Friday Jason Finelli connection. That's the way we like to do it here. Thanks for being back on the show.
I never left the chair. I just sat here for 4 days, and now I can be free to do something else. But no, great to see you back. Shout outs to Mike Minotti, who did hold down the fort.
Yes, thank you so much, Mike.
In your absence, while you went and enjoyed some time with your family, as well you should. Glad to see you came back to immediate horrors as it pertains to the package on your doorstep. Everything you were saying about your wife's reaction to this costume just makes me more and more excited to see what's going on there.
I can't figure it out. I'm like, what would scare her so much? I don't know. Anyway, we're talking about Blight Club, everybody. My Blight Club costume arrived. Steph always kind of gets it out, gets it ready, and sets it aside without me seeing it. She did it like as soon as we got home, and she's like, "You can't come in here." I'm like, "What is she talking about?" And I'm like, "Oh, Blight Club," and she's like I said, distraught. It's not just like she's scared. Like there's something that is upsetting her more than usual. So I don't know.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Good luck, pal. I don't know anything about it. I have not been tipped off. I'm going to find out with everybody else, and I'm very excited to do so.
It's absurd. I don't know why I deserve any of this. These idiots got into a battle, and it's like, you know, this war between two countries, and they're like, all right, let's put this down and just go attack this guy for no reason. I don't think it's fair.
Fuck you, Switzerland. They're coming for you.
Yeah. Come on. What did Switzerland ever do wrong? All right, let's see here. You know what? How do we do this show? I think what we do now is say, hey, thanks for watching. Let's explain ourselves. This is Giant Bomb. We're a bunch of internet video game doofuses. We're independent games media, and you could support that by going to giantbomb.com/join, becoming a premium member. If you do that, you ensure the future of independent games media, and we really appreciate everyone who has joined, who does support us. It does make the whole world go round for us, and we really need that. So thank you so much. It gets you ad-free versions of our shows. It gets you access to premium-only shows, and it gets you that satisfaction of knowing that you're putting your money where your mouth is, and we can keep doing this thing. As far as this show goes, most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game S Mornings, or find the RSS feed on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start. Did he say LuTube all week? I hope he did.
He said at least once, yes.
Okay, good.
At least once.
We have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Games Done Quick raises $2.4 million. That's a big number. Then cancels an SNK sponsorship after community backlash. I kind of vaguely saw this as I think I was driving, Jason. I know you had some thoughts, but kind of let's break it down real quick. Summer Games Done Quick did conclude after raising $2,408,701 for Doctors Without Borders through a week of speed running. Hours after celebrating that result, GDQ announced that it was excited to partner with SNK on a sponsored Metal Slug 30th anniversary showcase. The announcement immediately drew criticism because approximately 96% of SNK is owned by Electronic Gaming Development Company, a subsidiary of the Mohammed bin Salman Foundation, which is the king of Saudi Arabia. Critics argued that the sponsorship conflicted with GDQ's stated support for LGBTQ plus inclusion and human rights because of the Saudi government's record on those issues. Less than 3 hours after announcing the partnership, GDQ stopped the sponsored stream, said it would not accept SNK's money, and promised not to work with the company again. GDQ acknowledged that it had failed to properly examine the sponsorship's owner and said that it would strengthen its vetting process going forward. Jason, I said I knew you had some opinions on this. How are you feeling about all this as it was developing, and how do you feel about it now?
So first, I just want to say that raising $2.4 million with Doctors Without Borders should be the headline. That's what we should be talking about.
By far the bigger thing here, yes.
It is quite by far the bigger thing and what they should be celebrated for. It was an absolute week of catharsis for the gaming community to go and sit and watch these runs and forget about the rest of the industry as it was burning down around them. The goodwill that this group has built over the decade plus of them doing this is more than apparent. So then the next day they had a hiccup. It is what a football enthusiast would call an own goal.
Yeah,
it is. And there's no getting around it, but they immediately fixed it to the point where they, as you said, shut it down midstream, right? At one point, there was a video on SNK's official YouTube channel, because they were co-streaming this thing, that said, we are canceling this because we cannot accept your money knowing where it's coming from. On SNK's YouTube. That is not nothing. That takes some balls, right? That video has since been deleted, because of course it has. And then they immediately turned around, they read the writing on the wall, and they fixed it. That has to be applauded. Any other company with less druthers would have taken the one-time partnership and like, oopsie, sorry guys, but we got the money now. And that would have been it. These guys shut it down fucking immediately. And that has to be applauded. I know some folks involved with GDQ behind the scenes. I spoke to them. They said, and I believe them, that they did not know about SNK's ownership. And some people might think that that's a little weird. Right? They may say, how could they not know that? But let me ask you a question. There is this thing that they may not have to worry about that all of us in this journalism, game industry following circle have to be. And that's called being terminally online. Mm-hmm. They don't have to do that. Their focus is on the runners who bring them the games. Their focus is on the charities that they're going to be supporting. They are a non-profit. They have a whole separate set of ideals. So if the people who are making these decisions see SNK Metal Slug, they're going to go, holy shit, that's a legacy brand bringing us a legacy game for a big anniversary. They're going to jump on that for the opportunity to gain a little bit of extra money to keep their message going. They're not going to Google, I wonder who owns SNK. Maybe we should figure that out.
Yeah,
because
they knew who SNK was.
Minds.
I mean, they knew who SNK is. They're the company that made those cool games, for the last 30 years.
For them, it's the game. It's the people who made Metal Slug, so it makes perfect sense. They're not thinking about the things that you or I or other people know, because they're thinking about how can we use this to further our charity, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, it is an own goal. Yes, it looked bad, but the immediate reversal, coupled with the immediate apology, to me, they have earned enough goodwill, as I said, to be able to, I don't want to say get away with it, but to have shown the contrition that they did, that we take them at their word. This is not a big bad corporation saying that, oh, we're sorry, we laid off 3,200 people. That's not what this is. This is a group of people running a charity who made a mistake and immediately fixed it. And that brings me to my second point. If you were one of those people, if you're in this chat right now, and you were one of those people who said nothing they've ever done is good because of this, they're dead to me, fuck you.
Yeah,
Plain and simple. Fuck you, man. So I don't mean to keep interrupting you. It just really heats me up, because they're humans doing human things, making a human mistake. It happened. They fixed it. It's over. For you to then say that hundreds of or tens of millions of dollars that they've raised for Prevent Cancer and Doctors Without Borders doesn't mean a damn thing because of one sponsored stream. I hope your loyalties to your friends are not as flimsy as they are to this. I bet you're fun at parties too. Fuck off. That's all I got to say.
I mean, yeah, we like it's also like the easiest thing in the world, right? To just be like, oh, I did not raise millions of dollars, but I will sit in judgment of the people doing that. Look, we know how this goes. You build 2.4 million bridges. You take one, thing from MBS, and you are a friend of MBS. You're not a bridge builder, right? Like, yeah, like that's how it always goes. It's so easy for that to wipe this stuff away. But yeah, I do think like we could be a little bit more mature about it and just sit back and think about it a little bit more and be like, God, nothing's going to wipe away all the good this team has done, at least nothing of this level. And they corrected it fast enough. I just feel like we can be adults about it.
And then even if they did Google, like, who owns it, they're going to see it's owned by Electronic Gaming Development Company, because that's how the Bid Salman Rasheen has whitewashed, or not whitewashed, you know what I mean? Like sanitized the name of their company.
Business wash, which is what they're trying to do. Yes.
Right. It's not called the Saudi Electronic Gaming Development Company. It's a generic name. So if they have to go the next level to find that out. It breaks my heart that after a week of such goodwill and good vibes and good things, the trans rights, the we in the crowd, the amazing heartfelt message from Spike Vegeta after that Gaza mini doc that Doctors Without Borders shown, that anybody is going to, the one thing that people are going to think about first about Summer Games Done Quick, at least for a little while, is this controversy right after. And it fucking sucks. I feel really bad for them.
And now it's, I get how this happens. People are like living their lives feeling under assault in every way from every corner, and they just want to feel like everyone's, the people that they believe in are on their side, and so any small betrayal feels like a complete betrayal, and so it's tough, but I do think that we kind of get into this. I don't know. We get into this situation where we see people slip up, and it's like, let's this is someone that will listen to me. This is someone where I know I can hurt them. So let's make it clear, don't betray me, because this really does hurt. And people should be able to criticize who they want, and people should be able to say, like, if they're disappointed in something. But it also feels like we know that these massive corporations won't listen, and we know that things are going to keep getting worse and worse, and we know that economic inequality is as bad as it's been in our lifetimes, and it looks like it's only going to get worse in the next little bit, and that's fueling all of these problems and all of these not just anxieties, but true problems that people are having around the world. And when we feel like someone will listen, I get it's like, okay, I'm going to go make a difference here. It often backfires. I think it doesn't like accomplish what we're trying to accomplish. It sort of just keeps us apart. But yeah.
I just want to be clear. In the moment when it was happening, people were expressing their disappointment. That's not my problem. You had every justification to be disappointed. I was disappointed. Yes, I thought it sucked. But the way that they turned it around, I think, shows the quality of not only the organization but the people running it.
Yeah, and I think so.
That's all. That's it. That's all I can say.
$2.4 million raised, and they're gonna keep it going. This is it's just such a great. I mean, I went to Awesome Games Done Quick, the last one in Pittsburgh, and it's just such an amazing thing. It's really it does come down to the people, the runners, and the work that those teams over at GDQ do to make sure that those people can be on display and do their thing and feel comfortable and safe is incredible, and should still be the headline. Like above everything else, even above sometimes the money raised. It's like this is a strong positive outlet for a lot of cool people who do not have awesome outlets for them to show their capabilities and their passions in a lot of other aspects of life. And the atmosphere is unrivaled at a GDQ. And they do a lot more than just that. They do Games Done Queer. They do the black led streams. The name is eluding me at the moment. They showed them all at the end of the Summer Games Done Quick. It's not just AGDQ and SGDQ. They do hot fixes throughout the year, which is what I think how they were pitching this one, if I recall. Black in a Flash.
Black in a Flash. There it is. Thank you. They're worth supporting because of what they do. And, we're none of us perfect. They had a hiccup. They fixed it. It's what we should see in organizations like this. I get nothing else to say. Sorry, I kind of took over the show. What's next?
Oh, please, man. I'm still on island time, Jason. You can do what you need to do to help me get back in the flow of things. All right, let's get to the next one. UK retail group condemns PlayStation decision to stop making discs. Man, this is not going away for Sony, huh? This is from Chris Scullion at VGC. The UK trade organization for physical and digital entertainment sales has criticized Sony's decision to stop making disc versions of PlayStation games. Sony announced earlier this month that it will stop producing physical discs for all PlayStation 5 games starting in January 2028, and that only games released in 2027 or earlier will be able to reprint physical discs. Now, the Entertainment Retailers Association, which defines its role as championing the retailers and digital services who connect music, video, and game creators with UK fans, has condemned the decision, as reported by the game business, saying it harms players and retailers. PlayStation's announcement that major games will no longer be available on disc is a triumph of corporate convenience over consumer choice, CEO Kim Bailey said in a statement. Every year, millions of gamers will still choose to buy physical copies because they value true ownership. A disc can be shared with family, traded in, collected, preserved, and crucially still played years from now. A download license often offers none of those freedoms. According to the ERA, whose partners include Game, which is a retailer in the UK, HMV, Asda, Morrison's. Consumer data shows that a quarter of those under 25 use discs, and the total disc-based games market was valued at over £300 million last year, demonstrating that there remains a substantial and committed audience for box games. And I think this is where we kind of like how the story keeps evolving, Jason, where early on this was happening, and I think a lot of people remembered a couple of numbers in their head of like, isn't it like 90% digital versus 10% physical? And it's like we broke those numbers down a little bit more. Everyone started looking a little bit closer, and it's like, yeah, that's like all games, including games that are digital only, and sometimes that includes DLC and some other stuff. When you really look at a split for any game that has a physical and a digital option, and the physical option was widely available at launch, it's much closer to 50%. And there's a variation in between where it's like sometimes it's 80-20 and the 80 is the digital, and sometimes it's 60-40 and the 60 is the physical. And it's like, okay, wait, what then why is this happening? And it really comes down to it comes back to that same quote, Jason, that we mentioned on almost every episode of the CFO of PlayStation a few months back, saying that the pathway forward for now is to make more money from the audience that already exists for PlayStation, monetizing them more and more. And that means getting a higher profit margin from them. And that does mean let's cut out the disc, let's cut out the retailer, let's go all PlayStation Network, all PlayStation Store. And if we do that, we're going to see somewhere between 3 to 10% increase in profit margin. It's like, oh, okay. So we're doing all of this so you could squeak out a few extra percentage points of growth. And the answer just flat out is yes. So gaming's going to get worse so that they can find some area to make a little bit more money. And I think I said this on a show with Sean before I left, that it's like, man, why does it feel like we have no say in the way our lives go? Why does it feel like we all want something, even those of us that are digital? I'm all digital. I want the physical to remain because it creates price competition in a way that you just won't have if it does go away. That's what I want. It's what the majority of people seem to want. And yet the majority of people wanting something has nothing to do with the reality that we're going to get. And it feels like, well, what can we do? And on PlayStation's side of things, their plan, Jason, is to wait this out. That's the reporting. They're like, we're just going to let the storm pass. We're not going to say anything else. We're just going to kind of stick to this and let it pass. And that is a hubris we've seen before. And it's a hubris we've seen backfire repeatedly in this industry specifically. How do you think this is playing out? What do you think happens next?
I think ultimately, if I had to predict, and maybe this is glass half full, but I do not think we get to 2028 without them reversing course. And I don't know if it's going to take litigation or federal, not necessarily American federal, but federal action somewhere else in the world where it becomes unfeasible for them to do discs in some places and not do it in others. It's either all or nothing, and they have to do it there. You know what I'm saying? Because as they mentioned here, and as mentioned here, it's collectability, it's sharing with your family, it's ownership, it's all that stuff. And some people choose to buy physical copies. Some people have to buy physical copies because the infrastructure is just not there. They could want to download, imagine someone on PlayStation downloading Call of Duty in a place where internet is not what it is in an urban area, like in the middle of the farmland, right? It could take them 3 days because those games are 120 friggin' gigs. I'm being facetious. That's a bit of an exaggeration. But this is a real thing. You are basically cutting out a portion of your audience for, 3 to 10 percentage points of profit, like you said, on data that you have apparently fudged as you said earlier, it's not quite as clear cut as you're making it out to be.
Right.
So they're going to keep taking these hits. Eventually, those hits are going to start coming from from some official places. If the world ever, it's going to take a lot. And this is glass half full. Like I said, I am probably very much in the minority in this opinion, but I strongly believe that this is not actually going to happen, because I think people have a very short attention span now, right? It's very clear that the controversy of the moment happens and then it goes away. This is not going away.
Yeah,
it has not gone away. I don't think it has any chance of going away.
I mean, I think it's the exact sort of equivalent of the moment that Microsoft revealed the Xbox One, and in some ways it could be a lot worse. The problem is the issue. Here's where it's like I'm with you up to a point, and then I diverge here. We're just gonna skip to this next story. We'll come back to God of War here in a moment. Xbox could reveal disc to digital this week. This is from Darren Bonthus at GameSpot. The future is looking increasingly digital for next-gen video game consoles, but one method that might ease the transition, is a disc-to-digital service that allows users to bring their libraries with them. We talked about this before I left this side. This concept of you get a digital sort of certification, authentication that you can use after you put the disc in your system, and now you kind of own it digitally until that disc appears in someone else's system. That's the rumored way it's going to work. Obviously, this is born out of the original sort of Xbox One launch, where they had a way of marking discs so they knew which one was which, and they were going to take entitlements away from you. They were going to prevent you from selling the disc. So all that stuff is still lying in wait in the background, and I'm waiting to see the other shoe drop of like, the disc to digital sounds really promising. Or is it really going to be the best version it can be? But whatever. I want to talk about this in conjunction with. So back in 2013, it was right where Xbox reveals the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 comes out, or PlayStation comes out and says the PlayStation 4 is the exact opposite. We have disc sharing and you can sell your games and all this stuff. They were there waiting to counterpunch. The question for me is, Xbox, for all of its issues and all of its problems, they do seem to want these wins, and that's what fueled them to make some games exclusive again. They listen to some idiots online who want the console wars to keep going, despite the fact that both these companies' biggest investors are the same BlackRock and Vanguard and stuff like that. It's like, sure, man, you guys do not realize what you're fighting over. It's just the same company, but whatever. Is Xbox, when they announce this, going to say anything about the future of physical? I don't know that they are. If they do, though, if they come out and say, look, we're going to give you disc to digital and yeah, blah, 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 but we also promised to never stop making discs, which again, I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to do that. But if they did, it would fall in line with this desire to get these wins. And if they do so, I think that is the counterpunch that causes Sony to be like, okay, this is not going to go away, because it's going to be something our kind of one remaining competitor will keep coming back to and hitting us on, especially as we are about to launch a new system. And when people are faced with the decision to buy a PS6 or a Helix, this does feel like it can move the needle just enough for enough people that they have to address it. But what do you think the chances are that Xbox is actually going to do that? Because I think it's pretty low.
I mean, yeah, when you frame it that way, I would agree with you that if it would take something like an Xbox counterpunch to do that. But I don't know, man, that desire to be as happy and PR winning as strong as it is at Xbox, they might just think about doing something like that, or at least framing disc to digital in a way that makes it seem like physical's not going away. You know what? It's just however they spin this disc to digital system, however it works. I could see them doing that, but only because they need the PR victory after the layoffs that already happened, the layoffs are still coming, and all the other nonsense. I think their desire to be liked may cause them to do something like this. You know what I mean? Like maybe 25%, 1 in 4 chance. I'm not saying it's 99% definitely going to happen, but I do see a future where that need supersedes anything else, and they see an opportunity to counterpunch and they pivot and they take it. that is feasible to me.
Yeah, but people point out, Helix is mostly done. Can't really change the plans now. I will remind you, Xbox One was announced, like it was there,
Yes.
and they had
Yes.
all these plans in place, and then they had to go in there and change everything back so they could have the discs work the way that they used to, and it came in very hot, and they had to like adjust on the fly, last minute as they are landing the plane, and so they've done this before to try to like fix an error that they made. I think that this would be the situation where if they made a last minute decision to change it to Counterpunch and have a chance at making the Xbox brand mean something again, and this is their last chance to do that. I like if I were in charge, that I 100% would do this. This is like not only is it like okay, like we will get a bunch of big PR wins, which again we seem to have a surprising amount of care in getting those, a surprising desire to get those. But if Xbox is to be eventually spun off or sold as like some other brand other than like the Call of Duties and the Minecrafts that get left behind, the one thing that will make it like more valuable to a potential investor or whatever, whoever's going to buy it, is if there is an audience still buying games there. And if you promise to never stop selling physical games. Now, there's obviously a lot of problems with that. Optical drives are going to be harder and harder to get. They are going to be more expensive. We aren't making a ton of those, but Microsoft can solve that. They can they're putting all their money in building data centers. Take just some of that money and say we're going to buy one of the companies that's producing optical drives, and we'll keep doing that forever. Like we will never stop making discs. Or switch for the next system. You can be like, okay, we'll sell an external disk drive. We'll do our best to keep making those, but we'll switch to game cards the way that Nintendo has.
Game key cards.
Game key cards, right.
Game key cards.
People are ready to settle for game key cards.
I know. It's nuts.
Based on this. So it's like, they need to find something. Now, again, I don't think they will. I'm with you where it's like 1 in 4 chance, 1 in 5 chance. I am on the other side of 50%. And so I don't think that they will, but they should. They absolutely should, and it would make a big difference here.
And even from a cold corporate perspective, they could sell 2 consoles, one with a disc and one without.
Yeah, I mean, yes, and it's and the disc drive doesn't have to be built in. They could sell it separately, but again, just say the words. We guarantee we will always have a physical option, and your discs will always work. And we'll keep selling discs of our games, and we'll offer a way for third parties to keep selling discs for their games. And we'll never stop until it becomes literally physically impossible. And even then, we'll try to find some solution. And if they do that, the story shifts very quickly. Now it's Microsoft. They're a bunch of buffoons. They really are. That all the stories of the leadership over there. I've heard for years that it's like you try to work in that system inside of Microsoft and Xbox, and you look around, and it's just middle managers everywhere you look who have no vision, no idea of what to do. And they've laid off a lot of people who make games. Did those people go anywhere? I hope they went before the people who actually make the games. And,
I hope so too.
But we'll see. We'll again. I'm very skeptical that'll go down this way. Yeah. All right, let's wrap up the physical game talk with this one real quick. God of War Studio confirms the Laufey will have a disc version. This is from Andy Robinson at VGC. God of War developer Sony Santa Monica has confirmed that its next entry will be available on disc following this month's controversial announcement that PlayStation will end physical media production. The news, which came in the form of a Twitter post simply stating that God of War Laufey will be available on disc, has also seemingly revealed that the release window for the game will be before January 2028, right? Because no game that comes out after January 2028 can have a disc. There's not going to be exceptions, according to Sony. It's flat out across the board. No more discs after that point. And unless you came out before that point, they can't reissue the discs. They won't reprint them. That will only be for games that came out before January 2028. So, okay, yeah, we kind of had an idea this game was going to try to come out in 2027. But I think I'm more interested in the fact that here's a studio saying, no, we're going to be on disc. Don't worry. Like, they still know it's a selling point. They know it's a positive check mark for their game. And it's a Sony studio going out there saying this. It feels like, man, people inside that house must be yelling at them, being like, you can't, like, this is so stupid. Just let it naturally decline like it was going to anyhow. and keep offering options for people, because we know that when we say this, there will be a group of people that will be very excited, and that group is not insubstantial, right?
No. Two things. One, I hope Laufey doesn't get delayed into January 2028, because that would be awkward, or later. And secondly, this presents an opportunity. All right, God of War fans, PlayStation fans, hear me, see me, look at me. Buy this game physically.
Yeah.
Even if they offer you a 3 to 5 day digital early access, whatever, you buy this game physically, and it's the only way you buy it. You want to make a statement? They are gift wrapping you the ability to make that statement right here with this major franchise, the next game in the major franchise. Disc only. If you want to show them that this is a big mistake. Now, granted, it'll probably come out in November, so they'll have 2 months it'll only be 2 months worth of data, and that won't be enough, and they'll still do it anyway. But fuck that, do it. Because they are, like I said, they're gift wrapping you this. With GTA, I would say GTA, but there are too many people who are not involved in hardcore video gaming, like where that is very much a casual game. They're going to buy it
like,
most,
and that's a key in a box, remember? So it's like that won't have the same effect.
Right, exactly. Buy this disc and show them that this is how you want your games. And that's really the only advice I can give you here. I am excited for this game. I have been since I saw it. I'm excited for this panel to learn more about it. And I will be buying it as a disc on day one.
Like you mentioned, there's a panel happening at San Diego Comic-Con. Yes. Upcoming panel.
I thought I said that. Sorry.
Yeah,
I thought you said that. I was putting words in your mouth. I'm on vacation brain too. But yeah, so if you take the opportunity here, same with Wolverine. Great point, Marek 760. That's an even sooner opportunity. Wolverine on disc. That's how you buy it. Show them that turn those metrics in the other direction, and maybe we'll see something. But I don't know. Good for them. And again, I agree with you. The internal studios at Sony are probably looking at the C-suite like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Are you insane? There's so much of the left hand not knowing what the right hand is doing or needs in this fucking industry. It is insane to me. And unfortunately, the left hand's the one holding all the money and making all decisions, and the right hand is the one left holding the bag.
Yep. It's a it's very frustrating. And then we just know that, like, when we go in there and we try to vote with our wallets, we're going to see them be like, yeah, but we care more about our profit margins. We think that's more important, and we also think we can still make you guys do what we want. And again, like, that is just backfired every time, and I think it has to keep backfiring to the point where they might not notice if we buy that physical. I hope they do, but they will notice if people are like less excited about the PS6. They're worried about that. They're worried about launching the PS6. They have no cards left other than exclusives, and that's why the PC ports have stopped. That's the one card that they're ready to play, is some exclusives. And I think people need to carry that disappointment forward into that system and be like, hey, if I can't buy these exclusives physically, I am inherently less interested in them. So I think that it's going to be a long-term project for people to sort of force this point, but we'll see. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, plenty more headlines to get into. In fact, there is one more about a physical game, but this one's a positive story. So we'll get to that after this break. If you want to skip out on these messages, you can do so. Go to giantbomb.com/join. If you become a premium member, there's ad-free versions of the shows you can get there. We will be right back. All right, we are back. It's Game Mess Mornings. That's Jason Finelli. I'm Jeff Grubb. Let's continue on here with Rhythm Heaven Groove opens at nearly 400,000 retail copies sold in Japan. This is from Sal Romano, at Gamatsu. Famitsu has published its estimated physical game software data for Japan for the week of June 29th, 2026 to July 5th, 2026. Rhythm Heaven Groove for Switch was the highest selling new release of the week, opening at they actually misprinted this. I know that they copied this wrong, and I meant to fix that. I have the answer over here. Yes, it was like 396,000 copies. And that's just physical, and that's just Japan. And that's basically, I mean, and it's been some time since then. So there are probably well over 500,000 copies sold just physically. How do you ignore that, Jason? How do you if you're a company, how do you not go like, we need to get some of that action instead of going, let's get rid of physical because it's just not worth it. Now, I guess Sony has not had as free, like they don't have Rhythm Heaven Grooves that are selling 500,000 copies basically in the first couple of weeks physically in Japan. But they do still sell, like they are the one company that often does have a game that charts in Japan on this Famitsu list. But they're forgoing that and forsaking that, expecting that they cannot win that back. And it's like, aren't you launching a handheld next generation? Isn't that going to be something that reinvigorates the Japanese audience? Don't you want to give those players something even more excited to be about? And the answer seems to be no. But clearly, physical is still doing very well in many circumstances, right?
Yeah, and you're saying that they don't have a Rhythm Heaven Groove. That sounds like a them problem, right? They
Exactly,
have a
yes.
vast library of games. They could have a Rhythm Heaven Groove. I bet there's a game out there where you do the rhythm thing to classic PlayStation songs, either remixed or what have you, and you could have a little Astrobot and his pals be the one. Astrobot Groove or Astrobot Rhythm. There you go.
You did it.
Free idea. Like they could be doing this. They could have the B. It's like I've said a couple of times, a post I read somewhere a long time ago. You can't just have all home runs, right?
Yeah.
Because then you're gonna score 1 point at a time. It's all solo homers. You got to put some people on base to really maximize those big hits. And this is how you do it with little stuff like this and Tomodachi Life, which my family is still playing. My younger, as I said on Friday with Mike, probably 150 hours in that game in a month and a half. She cannot put it down. I can't put it down, if I'm being honest. It's you have to have the little things to have the big things. As someone just pointed out in chat, they had Patapon. The Patapon is now coming out self-published, or a third party's doing 1 and 2, right? It's not them anymore.
Sony, I think still has the rights to it, but they just let a third party handle it for whatever reason. Who could say?
Then do that and just make it a PlayStation exclusive. If you're not going to do it yourself, pay make it a publishing deal. Let some other smaller studio take a crack at it. Maybe they'll find something new and innovative, and it'll become a huge franchise for you. You're just sitting there with your thumbs up your ass. You can be doing this, but then they'll say, well, these are budget titles, and that's why they're selling. It's not the $80 premium. And the $80 premium discs don't sell because people can't, they don't want to spend, they'll pay them digitally or whatever the friggin' excuse will be. They're just going to keep moving them goalposts until they get what they want, and then it's going to blow up in their face. What can you do?
Yep. It's, and you mentioned Tomodachi Life. I think I had the full chart over here. I think that is at, again, this is Japan only, and this is physical only. It's at 1.5 million copies sold.
Shit. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Come on.
Just in Japan, that's Star Fox is Star Fox is maybe a counterexample. That's been out a couple weeks now. It's only at 50,000 copies sold physically. But that game was selling out in a lot of retailers, at least here. Maybe the same thing was happening. Maybe they didn't print a lot of copies of that. Pacopia at 1 million copies sold, and that's Switch 2 only, right? So it's like people still buying physical games on Switch when they are Switch 2 only, not like Tomodachi Life, which has a huge built-in install base of Switch 1 gamers. God, Animal Crossing. Guess how many physical copies Animal Crossing New Horizons has sold over the years in Japan alone, Jason?
Physical
only in Japan.
In
Japan alone.
I'm gonna say 12 million.
It's pretty. It's 8.5 million, which is still huge. That game's
Damn.
I think globally, that game, and this includes both physical and digital, is at something like 45 million copies sold.
That's why I went 12. I figured it was probably a quarter of the install base.
With digital, it's certainly beyond that. It's certainly beyond that. But 8.5 million physical copies of Animal Crossing New Horizons sold in Japan over the years. All right, that does it for that. Let's keep going here. Palworld 1.0 explodes to more than 855,000 concurrent Steam players. The game has reached 1.0. It seems to have changed quite a bit since I played it in the early part of early access, like most people did. I think that's back in January 2024, where it reached an all-time peak of 2.1 million players. So it's not at those levels, but 855,000 concurrent players for anything across. That's like one of the top most played games on Steam, like top 5 at any one moment. So very impressive stuff. Pocket Pair's communication lead called the response staggering. The 1.0 update includes 72 additional pals, a level cap increase to 85, a reworked story and world, revised combat, additional base building systems, and a substantial new region. Any desire to go back to a Palworld? I probably won't, Jason, although, God, I don't know. Never say never.
In order to go back to it, I would have had to have gone to it in the first place. This one passed me by a little bit, but I have to say 855,000 people, 2.5 years after your original launch, finally going 1.0 is the kind of success story for an original IP that we should be celebrating. Even if you, especially if you add the extra layer of all of the legal bullshit they were put through with Nintendo. This is cool, right? Good for them. I hope it continues. I hope they continue to have a substantial player base that takes them to a level like the gold standard for me, right? For a game like this, people would say Fortnite. That's completely different because that hit the cultural zeitgeist. That went huge. The gold standard for me in a situation like this is Warframe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Warframe launched with the PlayStation 4 in 2013 and has just been there for 13 years. Just had TennoCon over the weekend.
Yeah.
People still love this game. They're now about to create this whole new section of planets, this new star chart called Tau, which will add so much more to this game, and they just continue to grow and add things and work with their community and build a strong community. That's the blueprint for a game like this. And if Palworld can get there to the point where we're still talking about it 13 years from now, good for them. This is an encouraging start and good for them.
Yep, absolutely. Let's go to Koei Tecmo CEO says it grew from 2,500 staff to over 3,000 in 2 years. And it is aiming for 5,000 staff. This is from Chris Scullion at VGC. The president and CEO of Koei Tecmo has detailed the company's plans for continued growth. In a new interview with Famitsu, Hisashi Koyanuma was asked about his previously declared aim to become the world's #1 digital entertainment company. Koyanuma explained that the aim was to have the highest operating profit in the games industry, with the first plan being to reach the top 10 by 2035, which can only be achieved when customers buy a lot of games. When asked how Koei Tecmo planned to release games frequently enough to achieve this, Koyanuma replied that the company's workforce had grown over the past 2 years, and the plan was to grow it even further. In 2024, Koei Tecmo told shareholders that it had around 2,500 staff and wanted to double this in the future. According to Koyanuma, the number has now passed 3,000, and they still want to grow to 5,000. We are currently expanding our workforce to increase the number of development lines, he explained. This is via machine translation. Last year, our group-wide headcount grew to just over 2,850 people, and this year, with 193 new graduates joining us in Japan alone, our total headcount has reached approximately 3,000. And then he does go on to say, like, yeah, looking ahead, we hope to continue steadily toward a workforce of 5,000. They're doubling the size of their team making games because they want to make a lot of operating profit, Jason. And their solution, their plan to do so as a video game company is to make more video games. Could never work.
What a concept.
It's
it's
insane.
Making games?
Clearly, this just shows that they lack a Western education that would tell them that is a stupid idea.
Yeah, how dare they decide to give their fans what they want, and that's more content to play through. Now, maybe because of the current climate we are in, it makes me nervous to see these numbers because I am afraid that this bubble could burst for them like it has for so many others. But it sounds like they have a slow and steady growth approach, and they have more than enough brands, as is in one of the paragraphs here: Dynasty Warriors, Ninja Gaiden, Dead or Alive, Atelier, Nobunaga's Ambition. They have a bit of a portfolio, right? They have, and then they could, maybe one-off IPs here and there.
And they work with Nintendo on a ton of stuff, and they probably be working with them more.
Sounds like the way you should do it.
Yeah.
Right? It sounds like it should work. And I am confident in that. It remains to be seen. Koei Tecmo games aren't exactly my cup of tea, but they clearly have a loyal fan base enough to support this growth. So good. I hope it works out for them.
Yeah, and it's like they could be saying the thing that everyone else is saying, which is we're going to be using AI to do more. And they're not. They're saying we need more people to make more games, which is all we're asking for. I think on this show constantly, it's like, man, we know what really is going to get more games made. Even if, again, all the biggest promises of AI are true, like everyone's going to have access to that. So that has nothing to do with you standing apart from the rest of the industry. You're going to need people to do that. And they are at least acknowledging that. And again, we don't think AI's biggest promises are actually going to come true at all.
A small anecdote. I have been going down the shore and going to the pool in the summertime with my family, and you can tell who's using AI for their ads, right?
Yeah.
Like if it pops up on a billboard, or if it's like a flyer somewhere, and they all look the same. If I put 3 of these flyers next to each other, a passing cursory glance, I don't know who's advertising what. The real estate one is next to the one for the hot dog, is next to the one for the Dairy Queen. It all blends in.
Jason, how can that possibly be true? AI is going to unlock creativity from everyone, right? And then everyone's going to be able to have their own personality that AI will represent. It's not just going to regurgitate the same thing for every person, regardless of the prompt. That's impossible.
It's impossible. How can anyone say that other than people with eyes who live in society?
And it's and those are just like flyers, right? That's like really easy stuff to like do yourself in Photoshop. And that's not my point here. My point is like, that is something that you should be able to like say in a prompt, like I want mine to be like this and go like that. And yet everyone's looks exactly the same. And we're expecting it to be able to have a bunch of creativity to make the next video game that's going to stand out. What a joke.
What a joke.
What a joke.
What a joke. It makes no sense to me. And it makes my heart sink every time I see a different company using a flyer like this. Now, one more quick thing before we move to the next story.
Yeah, please.
The name of this CEO, Hisashi Koinuma, floors me, because this man was the first person I ever interviewed on video at an E3. My first ever E3, 16 years ago. Enjoy the link, chat, Twitch chat. I just threw it in chat. You can see me with my full head of hair on my blurry ass camera talking about Fist of the North Star, Ken's Rage with this man. That is insane. I hadn't heard that name in 16 years.
That's amazing.
And there it is.
Well, the shout out to the gamer node.
Years old in that video.
That's okay. Jeez. This is amazing. All right, that's God. I do love that. Like, man, why do I know that name? It's oh yeah, I talked to them more than a decade ago. Incredible stuff.
That's wild.
All right, last couple of stories here. Black Ops 1 and 2 port players counts dominating Black Ops 7. It's claimed, so the number of people playing Black Ops 1 and 2 is crushing Black Ops 7. This is from Andrew Heighton at Insider Gaming. The recently released Black Ops 1 and 2 ports are allegedly beating Black Ops 7 in terms of overall player count, despite the ports being the OG games with next to no improvements, still being pricey and only on limited platforms. I recently covered the interesting reasons why Black Ops 1 and 2 port players thought the live player count ticker had been removed from both games. Charlie Intel has claimed that the ports are doing well, which would support this further, but you knew it was coming. I think this comes from Charlie Intel, who said this comes from an unnamed source. The Call of Duty Black Ops and Black Ops 2 ports on PlayStation, which just kind of shadow dropped out of nowhere, have more players online than Black Ops 7 does combined on all platforms. So just on PlayStation, Black Ops 1 and 2 has more players than Black Ops 7 does on all platforms. That is, is this exactly a problem? No, I think this is working out exactly how Activision wants it to, where it's like, Black Ops 7 does not feel like a real long-term winner. This is not one that people are going to be looking back on like super fondly 10 years from now. Let's sort of give them something to do while they wait for, which I believe the next one is Modern Warfare again, which just feels like, man, again. This will be the 7th one, and the first one named 4, but the 7th Modern Warfare. I think that number might not even be right.
So technically, you're right, but Call of Duty 4 was Modern Warfare, and now this is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4.
Yes, that's what it is. Incredible. All right, let's see here. So I'm not necessarily running back to these games. I've had my time with Call of Duty. Really, really liked it back in the day. Not playing it much these days, but I did perk up when I heard this, and I'm probably not going to go turn on my PlayStation to play Call of Duty on there. That's the one thing. So had this been like updated across the board, I might have checked it out on PC or something. Of course, I could just go play this on PC whenever I want. So, and I'm not doing that. Yeah.
No, and the reporting last week is that the ports are not great. That they're just kind of missing a lot of stuff, and you got to pay for DLC or something like that. People weren't very happy with them, but they're still playing them. And yes, this definitely just seems like something to fill in the lost sales of Black Ops 7 to make the Call of Duty franchise still seem as valuable as it is. You know what I mean? Yep. Like a emergency project sort of deal.
Black Ops 1 crashes a ton, says Samuel. Yeah. Nice. Okay.
Yep. There you go.
All right, let's update you guys on what's happening today and what's happening tomorrow, and maybe even a little bit of later this week. So today, Monday, July 13th, Ascend to Zero launches and joins Game Pass on day 1. Beholder Conductor arrives on Xbox. I did look up a little bit of details on that. Let's see here. Beholder Conductor what kind of game is that? Who is that? A shooter? Yeah, okay. A totalitarian train conductor sim where you inspect passengers, spy on them, and decide who to report to the state. Man, that sounds like
Train Papers, Please.
Yeah, I think so. Train Papers, Please, sounds fun. So that arrives on Xbox. Online services for Madden NFL 23 are scheduled to shut down today. So if you want to go back to Madden NFL 23 one last time, get in there. And then the Tetris 99 Star Fox Maximus Cup concludes today as well. So if you want to get those, they always have cosmetic stuff as part of that. Today's your last chance to do so. Tomorrow, PBA Pro Bowling 2026 joins Game Pass. Hell Clock launches on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. Hell Clock is a Brazilian history-inspired action roguelite that mixes frantic Diablo-style combat and build crafting with tightly timed dungeon runs. That sounds cool as well, and it's got an incredible name, Hell Clock. Detopia launches across PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch 2, Switch, and PC. Detopia is a cozy narrative puzzle adventure about maintaining an AI-managed utopia and deciding whether engineered happiness is really freedom. And then Ubisoft Barcelona's scheduled Tuesday strike continues today. So yes, definitely give them some shouts. They are frustrated for being laid off after putting out a game that Ubisoft immediately was trumpeting as a massive success. So incredibly frustrating as well. And then later this week, let's mention this real quick. Sony's expected to reveal July's PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium Editions. PsyOps: The Mindgate Conspiracy is already confirmed for the July 21st catalog update. Although I know I saw a lot of people canceling their PlayStation Plus after the physical stuff. So
can't imagine why. Why would they do that?
Yeah, maybe people aren't going to care. All right, that does it for the stories. Let's go ahead and start getting into the wrap up of the show. No poll question because I believe Mike did do the Bomb 12 to wrap up last week. So if you want to check out the new Bomb 12, you can see that on giantbomb.com, and there's a vote here button. What happened?
He read the Bomb 12, and the first thing he said, Sean had to say, nope, you have the wrong one. There's an updated one. And then he went on this whole rant about, and Jeff, I have to bring this up to you too. Please. The names of your files. Did you hear this?
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, yeah. I was wondering how he was. That's not really how the Bomb 12 works. What did he say? No.
He said no. So like Monday is called Monday morning mess run of show. Wednesday is called Wednesday.
Yeah, I type in Wednesday in my Google search bar and it comes up for me every time.
That's how I'm doing it too.
There's nothing wrong with the system. The system has been working.
I agree.
For years.
I agree. I'm used to it now. But Mike had some concerns, and Jan was not there. It was Sean, so Sean had to hear them too. Thursday is Thursday GMM, and then Friday is Friday GMM run of show.
What is the what's the common thing there? The day of the week. You just look for you type in the day of the week and it pops up. It's actually a great system. It's who gives the rest of the words are superfluous. It doesn't matter. We don't have anything else that's like day of the week coded, so those are the only ones that matter.
Also, those Google Docs, we don't have ownership to those anymore.
Yeah, that's the funny part. It's like maybe that's still fandom. I could just copy and like make our own. I haven't done that yet because it just has not been a problem.
Only when someone filled in for you did it become a problem.
I definitely like got the text on Friday morning. How do I get the bomb 12? I'm like, I'll just do it for you. Just hang on. Here are the games. There you go.
Chuck is saying there is a poll question.
There was. Did he do a poll question for Friday? Okay. All right. Let's see here. I'm going to bring it up right now. We'll go to Giant Bomb there, and I will refresh.
Chuck has now said it 3 times. I think someone. Oh, here you go. Yep.
All right. Where are most of your digital games? Comment. I'm on Epic if you're Tim Sweeney. Mike forgot to post a poll, so it's your boy Chuck Towski here with a poll for Jeff Grubb to enjoy on Monday. So we don't normally do one on Monday, Chuck, but thank you. All right. So your options were Nintendo, PlayStation, Steam, or Xbox. I guess most of mine are on Steam, although I have quite a bit on all of them. All right. Yes. 61%.
Okay, I'd love to see the follow-up poll to this. How many of your digital games have you where do you play most of your digital games, and how many have you actually played?
Yes, exactly. 61% say they are on Steam, so the vast majority actually. Then 20% on PlayStation, 10% on Xbox, and 9% on Nintendo. What do you think it breaks down that way? Because for me, it's like when I see that Nintendo 9%, that's people probably just still like buying physical games for their Switch and Switch 2.
Well, there's Japan numbers. Prove that, right?
Yeah.
Or at least lend credence to it. Yeah, I mean this tracks. I think I hate to see that PlayStation's above Xbox. Let's get that number down. We're trying to get them to keep discs. People stop giving them reasons not to. But Steam being the overwhelming favorite. I mean, they've been doing digital games longer than anybody, so
of course.
That makes sense.
Yep, makes a lot of sense. All right. New poll question here in a second. Before we do that, Jason Finelli, tell people where they can find you on the internet, what you have going on, all that good stuff.
JasonFinelli.com on Blue Sky. Big Man Finelli everywhere else. Big week for you, boy. I'm going to Europe for the first time.
Oh, where are you going?
I'm going to Amsterdam on Wednesday.
Amsterdam's a fun time. Yes.
MagicCon Amsterdam. Big week for Magic the Gathering. If you play that tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time, they're doing their first look at November's Star Trek set. So if you're a Trekkie and you don't like Magic, come see what they're doing there. And then the weekend in Amsterdam, they have panels on their next upcoming sets. They have a panel on their secret lair, their bespoke stuff. So there'll probably be some crazy stuff to see there if you play the game. And I will be covering it, interviewing reviews, all that good stuff. Very, very excited to write these things. And that's the biggest thing, obviously, for me. Other than that, I'm just doing the normal news and reviews and stuff like that. Big review season. Hi, I review games. Hello, talk to me. Let's review games together.
Yeah, there is plenty of games to be reviewed, so people are gonna have to spread the load in this industry coming up here pretty soon. Everybody.
Oh man, that's the phrase you use.
Spread the load. All right. No, I don't want to have to like two-step verification on my phone to like see the calendar. All right, there we go. I fixed that. New poll question: are you playing Black Ops 1 and 2 right now? Yes or no? I know this audience is mostly going to be no, but I want to see if there's any yeses in there. We'll talk about it on Wednesday's show here on Giant Bomb. Speaking of Giant Bomb, I have no idea what's going on because I just got back. So I'm going to go into a meeting and let you guys know. But I guess I do know that tomorrow we'll have the Bombcast. And then on Wednesday, it will be Blight Club. And it will be my turn for the first time. I did see someone comment on Reddit that of the 3 Blight Club members, I am number 4 for playtime this year because Jacob Keller's played more than me.
It is your reckoning, Jeff. I don't know what rules. It is. I have not been tipped off. Sometimes I am. Sometimes I know. I don't know this time. And oh no, I am so afraid and excited for you. It's not even funny.
That is that stat is such a of the 4 members of the NFC North, the Detroit Lions are number 5 because 20 years ago Tampa Bay used to be in there. So it's like it still has many stats above them, and I'm happy to be the Detroit Lions of Blight Club. Absolutely, everybody. We'll see. We're gonna find out why Stephanie's so distraught. Everyone, we're gonna find out why she's so upset. She seems a little mad at me, so I don't know. I'm like,
You
I
have
don't know.
control over it.
Exactly. So we're gonna find out what's going on.
Listen, let's
Wednesday.
hope it's like suave and debonair, and it's not anger. It's passion.
Yeah,
For your
let's
sake.
hope. Let's see. For my sake, we'll find out. Tune in. Don't miss it, I guess, or miss it. I don't know. It's your life, but I'm gonna be suffering either way.
Oh my
okay.
God! I've been tipped off. Ah!
Have you really?
Yes.
What is it?
I'm not fucking saying a word.
All right. Well, we'll be back with more Giant Bomb and everything. Jason Fiddley, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
Enjoy.
Oh, no. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself. And God damn it.